So up next, we're going to be discussing the daily log updates and the new shift feature. So I'm on the daily log page right now, and the first thing you'll notice is that there's some different search fields up here, as well as a slider option up here for daily log and shift. Right now we don't have any shift, so I'm going to go ahead and create one under Actions, Start Shift. You can see this looks like any other daily log pop-up. You can see your start shift time. The start shift time is going to default to the nearest 15 minutes. So if, for example, I want to start my shift and it is 15:01, I'll just press start shift and it'll start it right at 1500 and it'll set it right there. If I do want to set the actual time, I easily just pop it up to 01 and call it good. I'm going to keep it at 1500 for now. You can also see on the start shift itself is the odometer start. When we end our shift, you'll see the odometer end field as well. And then when we're viewing our shift, you'll have the ability to see both the start and the end together. Odometer has been removed from each individual daily log entry and instead is being maintained on the start and the end of a shift. Also on this page, you'll see your assignment drop down, court, investigations, and all that stuff. The typical things that you have up until now that you've been seeing in the activities field is now considered an assignment. So how we differentiate those is anything that has a duration, that has a length of time, should be considered an assignment. So if you're on patrol, for example, and you are on patrol for an hour, you'll be tracking that patrol with your single assignment patrol. The reason that we do this is because we can then get a duration of how long you were on that patrol, then how long you were on, say, lunch, then how long you were on guard duty, and so on and so forth. And then we still have the activities field that can be used for individual entries. Say, for example, you want to add just a quick note. You can add a note and it won't count a duration between that note and the next note. Say the next note you found a door unlocked on campus and you go to lock it. You don't need to have a duration for how long it took you to lock the door, all 15 seconds of it. So it's just going to be a quick one set note. So you'll be using assignment for the overall and then activities for individual additions. You'll see that area is unavailable right now until an assignment is selected. So I'm going to say assignment, let's see, I'll do investigations. And now my area field becomes available. So I can start my shift right now if I'd like. I can add some shift notes, but I want to show you one more thing before I move ahead. And that is the addition of a client field. So you notice that on the shift page, on the shift start pop-up, there was no client field by default. Well, the client field is only going to appear if your client code table is set up. So I head over to code tables under admin, search for daily logs under modules, and I can see the client code table and the modules affected as daily logs. Click on that. Nothing has been set up, so I set it up. I'm going to add a code table for Ben test client. Add that. I'm going to save and close. So now if I go back to my daily log page and go to Action Start Shift, you'll notice that I don't have to be on the Shift tab to actually start my shift. So I'm on the daily log tab right now. Under Actions, Start Shift, you'll now see that there is a Shift Client field. So what this means is that during the course of my shift, if I set this client, then every daily log entry that I create is going to default to that client. Now, I don't have to set a client here, and I can still have the option of setting a different client on each individual daily log entry. So if, for example, you have a singular client that you're working for during the duration of one entire shift, you can set your shift client right here, Ben test client. That's who I'm working for this entire shift, and it's never going to change. Or you could just keep this blank, and with each daily log entry, you could set a client if you happen to be working for a particular client at that time. For now, I'm going to choose Ben test client as my shift client. Odometer start, let's say whatever, 50. And assignment, let's do patrol this time actually. And we'll be patrolling area 1. Let's see, started patrol at 1500. And I can save this. And now my shift has started. I can view my active shift with this new button that appears, or I can switch over to the shift tab and I can see all my shifts. By default, it's going to be my shifts. However, if you're an admin, you can see anybody else's shifts by selecting or deselecting other users. If you're not an admin, all you'll be able to see is your own shift records. So if I click on this, or if I click on view my active shift, it'll open up the shift view page. So looks like any other view page, just has your shift details up top along with various logs and history. So you see this log. This log are the individual daily logs that happen during my shift. And I'll go into this in just a little bit, but I wanted to point it out right now. You'll also see that you have the edit button, so you can edit information about your shift during the course of it. And then also you have the ability to delete and print, just like every other record. So I'm going to return to search, go back to my shift page. Now my daily logs page, I'm going to say add a log. Right now my log time is 14:59. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 15:15. My client is going to default to my shift client. My assignment and area are going to default to my previous assignment and previous area. So if I change my area, now I'm on zone 2. Save that. If I add a new log after that, it's going to default to zone 2 because it assumes that I'm still in zone 2 unless otherwise told. So let's add this new log at 15:20. Let's say there's an activity, let's say public relations stop during my patrol in zone 2. Stopped someone. Nice talk about the weather. So I'm going to save that. You can see that each daily log entry continues to have the map as usual and attachments. That hasn't changed from how it works currently. So I save this and have another daily log entry. So now that my record was created, my daily log entry, if I view my active shift, click on that, and it will bring me to my shift view page. And you can see now that the shift view page is filled out with more logs down here. You can see my patrol, my assignment is patrol, and my duration is ongoing currently. We can't calculate the time until the patrol is done. So next thing we're going to do is maybe add some more log entries. But you know what? Instead of going to reports and daily logs and shifts every single time that I want to add an entry, I'm just going to go up to this new button that we have up top. Right now it says patrol because that's what my assignment is set to currently. And I'm going to click this button. And you can see that it brings up the daily log modal. This is the exact same pop-up that you're used to from the daily logs page, except you can access this button from any other page. So I'm going to change my patrol to investigations, and I'm in zone 3 now, and my activity, I don't think I need to set an activity. So save that, and you can see that it updated down here. Actually, I set the time incorrectly. I would like it to end after my patrol. I'm working in the past on all these. You guys won't have the same problem because I'm doing this all within a few seconds, but that's not really going to be an issue with you guys. So if I edit this time, and you can see I can edit this from the shift page itself, I want to set this to 15:25. Save that. And then this is all updated. The assignments, the beginning of the assignment is highlighted in a darker color, while all the other entries within the assignment are slightly lighter. Then you can see I have a new beginning of assignment with investigations right down here. Let's say I'm going over to, I'm inputting an incident right now. So I'm going to go over to incidents. I'm going to add a new incident, and I'm filling out something about loitering. So I'm filling out this incident about loitering. Maybe I'm typing a narrative. Here's a narrative. And then I say, oh, I need to add a daily log entry about this. I can click on this button. It pops up the daily log entry. I could say adding a narrative. Add that. Again, you guys, the log time will default to your current time. I'm going to set this up to 27 because it's after my previous one. And say, for example, if you had an activity that was adding a narrative or an activity for a suspicious person or something, you could go into this activity field and choose that. As is, I don't have those activities, so I'm just going to press save. That's going to save my daily log entry. And then, oh, I'm done with my narrative. I'm going to save and close that. I'm going to go back over to reports, daily logs, and shifts. And back on my shift page, I can see my shift there again, and I can view my active shift. And I can see my my daily log entry fits right there beneath it, beneath the rest, like it should. I can't remember if I mentioned this already or not, but something to keep in mind is that if your agency does not want to use this new shift module, the start and end shift like I'm doing here, you don't have to. You can still just use daily log entries exactly as you have been before. The only thing you won't get is this shift page. The shift page comes with a few benefits. You know, to be able to see your shift all in one place, seeing the duration of it, and seeing all the logs in one place, that sort of thing. But if you don't want to use a shift, you don't have to. You can still use your daily logs like you had before, with the one exception that you have to start using assignment instead of activity. It's the only difference. Something else before I move on that I want to point out is when you click on this button up top, your cursor defaults to the notes field. So I don't have to press anything else, and I can start typing right away. So I'm going to add that entry. Let's add it there. Let's add a court. Save that. And I can see that on my list as well. If, for example, I wanted to print this off, but I don't want to see the duration of it, and I don't want to see the activity, I can click on this gear right here, and I can turn off duration, and I can turn off activity. And this log section is going to update and shift to only show those fields. I can then print, and I can see all the details about this shift. If I press return, I can see that I haven't ended this shift yet, so let me do that real quick. I can do that from the daily logs and shifts page, from the action dropdown, like I have been with starting the shift, or I can do it straight from the header up here. You'll see that there is end shift, little switcher up here. I'll switch over to end shift, and I'm going to, that's when my shift started right there. Shift end, I'm going to set to 1600. Press done. Odometer end, I traveled 50 miles, so the odometer is now at 100. Ended shift at 1600. And I can click this view shift record after ending the shift. That'll bring me straight to the shift record when I press save here. Now, I'm already on the shift, but I'm still going to do it just to kind of show you how it works. Press that. It's going to reload the page and bring it straight to the shift. You can see the odometer went from 50 to 100. The duration of the shift was 1 hour, and there's my shift notes. And I have all my logs down beneath here. I think that's the majority of what I wanted to show on that module. As always, there are some reports that we have. You can see on the shift tab, there are no reports directly related to the shift. We hope to add some reports here at a future date. However, on the daily log tab, you will see that there is a report button up top. I can press this and I can build my reports. Let's say I'm going to do let's do a pie chart for my officers. So I just only have the one officer. I have some different areas, so you can see my various areas here. I think those are all the same as they've been before. However, we have significantly revamped how the durations work. So previously you may have seen some inconsistencies with the durations, but now they should work fairly smoothly with how we've done things. If I want the duration by area, I can see that In Zone 1, I've spent 25% of my time, which was 15 minutes. In Zone 2, I've spent 10 minutes. If I want to do, let's see, I can also do an average duration by area. That's going to be the same here as duration because I only have the one shift. I don't know if I'm going to have a good average to show you right here, but needless to say, average is going to get the total of all your shifts and average them out between each other, so you can get a good idea of what your average is with all of them. You can see we've got duration and averages by area, client. We've got this duration by officer, and you also have the assignment ones, the new fields that I added. So that's what you have right there. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is that you'll no longer see a duration column on this page. In our research, we found that duration on the daily log list page was kind of misleading and kind of confusing. What we also figured is that most often, or more often than not, users want to see a report on the duration, rather than just a list of all the individual durations of each activity, which is why we've updated the reports durations for officer, assignment, and that sort of thing. That's all I have to show you with the daily log updates and the shift feature. Up next, we'll be talking about the incident cleanup.